Hey guys, Brent Hull, Wednesday design video. House in Georgia, really cool one, 1920s, period revival, little English Tudor manor kind of thing. Organizing and framing the house as it looks from the street, helping a sunroom and a back porch that don't really contribute to the architecture. Played around with it, I'm curious what you think. This is a house in Georgia that we're working on, helping them with. It's a period revival house, 1920s-ish. This is a close-up. We're gonna work on this screen porch, or that porch, that sun porch got closed in. Rather unfortunately, it was made into a commercial space, and so you see some commercial things happening here. This is the back of the house, so it opens onto the front and the back. We'll talk about materials and more discussions about materials, especially with this unfortunate porch. I believe the garages were added later. It's probably an outbuilding that they got tied to the house, and we're going to talk about this material and that ironwork. And so essentially to start, what I did was I started with the lawn. So this is one of the design plans from the landscape architect, and really what I'm changing, because I think her plan was good, is that where you come in, I got motor court happy, and so I know I keep bringing up motor courts, or I feel like I keep talking about motor courts, but I don't think there's anything that really frames this house as well than a good motor court. And so what I'm showing here is that you would drive up to this instead. And so the thought is that framing this house like it would have been in the 1920s with a low wall, there's houses down this way that have low walls just like this, lifts the front porch, and then this frames, that motor court frames the house, okay? And brings order to this. This, to me, elevates the quality of the house, the nature of the house, the prestige of the house by having this kind of old school way of entering and being here. So we're elevating the front. It's not just a grassy knoll that runs up there. When you compare this to this picture here where the sidewalk just kind of runs up, this looks like it comes from a nicer neighborhood. This looks like it comes from a nicer part of the street. And so that's kind of an old school way of thinking about how this gets put together. So that's what this design idea is. That's what that motor court is. And what you're essentially doing is having, a walk that comes up from the sidewalk here that goes right up to the front door. And so that manages this. The other thing is that you'll see how big this lot is and how deep it is, which is cool, right? It's on a great historic lot. And here's where we get talking about the materials, but there's the back of that house. And so these brick columns, and you look at the house and you say, well, there's brick up there, so it's natural to have brick here. But the way these are executed, this looks like suburban USA. This looks like kind of a new house neighborhood. It doesn't evoke that feel and that charm of the historic neighborhood, in my opinion. The other thing is that we've got a lot of materials here. We've got a wood fence between these large brick columns. You got wood fence going up this side here, and you've got ironwork here. Now, ironwork to me is unfortunately, because there's two types of ironwork on this house we'll talk about. There's this ironwork by this back porch, which is nicer, okay? I don't think it's right architecturally, but it's a little bit richer in that they've got the scrolls, they've got this decorative work. Whereas this ironwork is kind of that cheap ironwork that hey, I got to put a fence in my house. Well, the cheapest fence is this ironwork because it's Chinese steel, it's tack welded together, and it's put in long strips, and it's light, easily installed. It used to be a material that was really an elevated, great, nice material. Unfortunately, today it's been cheapened. So, what I'm showing on the back of this house is that I'd like to put in some different materials. I'd like to get rid of this ironwork, whether this goes back with wood, if we keep with these wood panels, but a wood gate too, and some kind of different finial on the columns. I think the number of columns here needs to go away, kind of too column happy. And the opportunity for this house is kind of a country estate, right? You've got this deep lot, you've got this arrival, you've got this drive-through that you can kind of capture. And so we want to invoke that feel from the front and the back. That's why that front view picture, right? You could even have front gates here. This could be a little bit taller so that you'd go through a gate instead of going up steps. And so, there could be the drive over here could have a wood gate too. So that you can communicate the same thing on the front and the back. The other kind of problem child of this thing is this back porch. Well, let me do the sides first, because the sides, if you look at that sunroom that's been closed in, which is this view here, is that basically historically you would have had this as an open sun porch. Okay, there's tile on the floor here, there's tile on the floor here. This is now wood, so they've changed it to a wood floor, and they did this glass infill. And what our opportunity here is to infill this in a more interesting way. And so I'm showing a couple options. One, you see my motor court coming in here, and you see how that might look. But I've got these spandrels, and this can be done with stone or wood. Inside, they've got spandrels between openings, and you see this opening here. A spandrel is this piece here. Okay, the spandrel is when this arch goes up and the Tudor arch comes in there, that little corner piece is called a spandrel. And you see that I've got maybe some stone down here, maybe a wood deal. You could also do it in this manner. You could also, frame these openings with kind of timber and wood. And so you're playing around with different materials, but I'm seeing this as kind of a glass infill, but evoking that architectural sense into the design, either with stone or wood like this, or with stone or wood like this, as opposed to just taking it out, as opposed to just making it all open, which you could also do, but this allows you to keep it as a room and also kind of invoke that charm. What happens is that on the back side, because you're doing that, you have this really unfortunate back porch that was added on, right? So if you figure that this was not there, that was a detached garage, this also got filled in, and it's this weird kind of Pennsylvania blue gray stone that's stacked up. It's completely a departure from anything else we see on this house, and so it just stands out. The ironwork stands out, the stonework stands out, and it's just kind of this big beast that's unfortunate. And you can see that here, it almost looks like a cultured stone piece. The other thing you'll notice is that we've got the double doors. Double doors are not really an old house thing. And so these are even rotting, so we don't really want that look. And what I'm showing is that if we did go back with a timber opening, if we took all those stone away and went back with timber, that would be a better way of conceiving that. And then this back porch, again, the right stone matters, but this could be a larger back porch that sweeps down, that goes out to the backyard. And if we go back to my landscape plan, that's really what I'm trying to show here, is that this area coming off here can become a big gathering area. You have a pool house. All of a sudden you have access lines shooting across the pool. You're going out the back of the house, you see a pool house. But this frames the kind of the formal living area. You could terrace the backyard so that's a little bit more organized. And see, this is where you're coming up and parking and going through the motor court. So some ideas, some ways to kind of infuse character into this house, infuse some old house feels. It's really a material discussion, and then just detailing. It's all detailing, like just changing that to a wood gate over the iron gate, I think makes a huge difference. I think the timber work is more character invoking than this kind of cultured stone. I think the opportunity with these front sunrooms are fun. And so, those are things that, again, we can get that 1920s feel, again, with just playing around with materials. So, that careful material choice, just managing how you experience the house with the landscaping, all of those little things really do make a big difference. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, guys, those things help, right? Fixing that back stone thing, creating that country estate, the motor court, the wood gate, all kind of elevate that house and kind of make it more important, more prestigious. Taking that enclosed sunroom and that back thing, infusing that Tudor English design, I think helped. Let me know what you guys think. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.